This is Volume 12 in Bad Movie Fights versus Good Movie Fights. In Volume 11, we learned that a good fight So for this volume, we're actually going to try something a little different. This time we're going to pit fights against each other and determine which fight did it best. Starting off with The Punisher versus Extraction 2. One of the things that the Netflix Punisher TV series always did right was to keep the fighting grounded and realistic. And this fight best showcases that. Look how the fighting is close contact, with our protagonist receiving blow after blow. Make no mistake, this scene is brutality at its worst. Or shall I say best. It just feels so real. Maybe due to John Bernthal's insistence on character motivation.
For me,
right,
like with acting, like I love swinging for the fences.
Right.
I'll be if it's that way. Like, and I'm not gonna let my kid's dad be because you don't know how to write.
Kind of fear-based, which is
for
interesting.
sure. Oh, fear-based stuff.
The filmmaking here is very simple. The goal is to capture the action and cut when you need to cut, which works in this scene's favor. I would, however, downgrade the fight based on these moments. These impacts feel very soft due to the very strange decision to change the sound and to use slow-mo. These moments really cheapen the scene. Now, the prisoner scene in The Punisher and the one in Extraction 2 are polar opposites. One is simple and understated, the other is peacocking. Framed as a one-take scene, this scene is doing its very best to show you that it's a one-take scene. Now, the things that the scene has going for it are pretty good. The sound effects are fantastic. And we have a clear stake. Without any context, we know exactly what's happening here. You can see that Chris Hemsworth's character is trying to protect this woman. The fighting, much like The Punisher, is all about instinct rather than technique. But I just can't get past how showy this scene is. CGI fire just feels forced and unnecessary. And this, along with another issue, which I'll speak about shortly, is why I don't really like one-take fights and one-take movie scenes in general. There was a time when a one-take scene would have a wow factor, like Snake Eyes, back from 1998, directed by Brian De Palma. They were shooting on film using massive cameras, and they could only film 15 minutes at a time. Plus, CGI wasn't as advanced as it is now, so it has a wow factor. Nowadays, CGI, wipes, and the fact that cameras are just so light, small, and digital means that one-take scenes are rather easy to pull off. And I'm not sure what they actually, from a narrative standpoint, lend to a movie. Because actually, some scenes are better with cuts and reaction shots. Another thing here is the stamina. Look at how the Punisher runs out of energy. Whereas Hemsworth's character is just a force of nature. Unlimited stamina. He's speedrunning himself to victory. I have to give this win to the Punisher. I do think it has its flaws, but ultimately, for how simple it is, it just does it better. Next up is Roadhouse 2024 versus Flashpoint. Okay, Conor McGregor versus Jakey Boy. Let's get this straight. This movie was not a success. It went straight to streaming, but it does have its fans. Me not being one of them, but I've remained objective for this fight. First things first, this scene is actually fine. There's also some nice moments. But the constant punches and impacts, bare knuckle, is just so non-realistic. In real life, one of these punches from either of these guys would be fatal. Forget about 100 punches each, which this film is doing, one would be enough. And this line...
This piano's out of tune.
...is an instant downgrade in marks. It's just so corny. As well as this trope. A character is defeated by a character who should now easily win and just starts talking too much, and suddenly the character who was at death's door finds energy from somewhere to win.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Another downgrade of points here. I think this trope is best said here. From the good, the bad, and the ugly.
When you have to shoot, don't talk.
For MMA fighting, Flashpoint starring Donnie Yen is maybe top 3 when it comes to an example of a movie featuring that discipline. The scene is brilliant. Both actors had trained extensively to get to this level, and as you can see, the filmmaking is slightly more glossy, I think the word is. I do, however, have 2 problems with this scene. First being the same as Roadhouse, there's too many clinical impacts that the characters are receiving, and they're just getting up and fighting, as fresh as daisies. In fairness, this is a problem with most fight scenes in movies, so I will overlook it. But still, in this movie, wow. This dude would not be smiling after that, much less running away. Another issue I have is the movie itself is not great. The fight scene stands out heads and shoulders above the rest of the film. However, as far as filmmaking goes, and the back and forth between the 2 great fighters goes, this scene is legendary. Whilst not my favourite scene ever, it does feel very Bollywood. It is still good, and therefore, Flashpoint for the win. But what do you guys think? On my Twitter or X account, you can vote for your winners from each scene. I'll put the results in the next video. For our last fight, we have RRR versus the Revenant. There is so much to love about RRR. The melodrama and the message is just peak cinema. And this ridiculous fight against the tiger is genius. The CG is on point and the camera work is fantastic. And which of you watching this video didn't get goosebumps from this? Now, I don't know if a man can beat a tiger in real life.
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally made up. Pure fiction.
But I truly believe that this protagonist can beat this tiger. This scene is actually flawless. I love it. Whereas this scene is simply terrifying. Much was made of this scene when it first came out, and I was wholly unimpressed by this scene and the film. However, having revisited it for this video, this scene is fantastic. Great CGI, awesome acting by DiCaprio, and yes, there's not much of a fight here. It's more of a destruction than anything else. There is a real palpable sense of tension that you get with a fight. Amazing scene. And therefore, this is the toughest fight between 2 scenes in the whole video. For me, it's a real tough one. So whilst I decide, let me first say thanks for all the comments and likes over the course of the series. You guys are unmatched. If you're not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. A whopping 89% of you are unsubscribed, which is much better than the 96% it was a few weeks ago, but more of you would be fantastic. Also, Only 7% of you have hit the notification button. Please hit that notification button. And last thing, do you like this new format or do you prefer the old format? If so, let me know in the comments. If you do like the new format, which movie scene should I pit against each other next? Name the 2 scenes. Right, we need a winner here, don't we? I have to give it to The Revenant. You see, at heart, I'm a filmmaker who loves world cinema, naturalistic realism, auteur directors, and 70s cinema. So for that reason, I just have to slightly give it to DiCaprio here. The scene is just so terrifying. I actually had to pause it whilst watching it again for this video. It was just so visceral. RRR, you are flawless though. I mean, what a film. And if you actually think about it, at least both movies actually showed their fights. Unlike The Grey starring Liam Neeson, which despite the trailers teasing us with an epic fight between Neeson and a wolf, simply ended like this.